Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into something huge, something that's running in the background of your life every single second. We're talking about the power of your thoughts and how the world inside your head is literally building the world you see around you. And really, it all comes down to this one incredibly powerful idea: man becomes what he thinks. Now, this isn't just some nice sounding quote you'd see on a poster. Our source material treats this as a fundamental law of the universe, almost like gravity. It's the blueprint for how our lives actually get built, from the inside out. So, where does it all start? I mean, everything, every success you've ever had, every setback, every single action you take, it all kicks off in the exact same place. It all begins with a single thought. That's the seed. Everything else grows from there. But what even is a thought? We might think it's just this random, invisible spark that just happens. But our source defines it very clearly. It's a mental process that we create from the information and all the data that we've stored away in our minds. In other words, our thoughts aren't random at all. They're built out of what we feed our brains. Okay, this slide right here lays out the entire chain reaction that governs our lives. It's so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. See, it starts with a thought, just an idea. That thought then sparks a decision. That decision leads to an action. And that action, well, it always produces a result. I mean, think about it. Any outcome in your life, good or bad, you can trace it all the way back to the one thought that started the whole domino effect. And here is just a brilliant way to picture this concept. Think about a giant skyscraper. It's actually built 3 different times. First, it exists only as a thought, an idea in the architect's mind. Second, it gets put down on paper as a blueprint. And only then, as the third and final step, is it actually built in the real world. Our lives, they work in the exact same way. Okay, so if this process is that powerful, it leads to a really critical, kind of scary question. What happens when that starting point, the thought itself, is negative? This is where we fall into the trap of negative thinking. And to get a sense of just how big this challenge is, just look at this number, 60,000. According to our source, that is roughly how many random thoughts are just streaming through our minds every single day. That is a massive amount of mental traffic to manage, and it's a mix of both the good and the bad. And when that mental traffic turns sour, the consequences can be devastating. Your will to succeed can just evaporate. You can find yourself completely stuck in a cycle of poverty that just feeds itself. You might even start attracting more negative events into your life, almost like a magnet. And every little problem you have gets magnified until your health or your finances feel completely out of control. And here's a perfect real-world example of a thought that keeps someone trapped. What's the point of earning more money? It will just be spent anyway. Think about that. That isn't just a fleeting thought, is it? It's a whole belief system. It absolutely kills motivation and pretty much guarantees that person's financial situation will never get better. It creates the exact reality it predicts. All right, so that's the problem. But here is the empowering truth, the good news. We are not victims of those 60,000 thoughts. We can absolutely take control. The source material gives us a toolkit with 4 really practical strategies to master our own minds. Let's break them down. First step is strategy 1, control your inputs. This is so simple and so logical. If your thoughts are built from the information you let into your mind, then the very first step has to become a strict gatekeeper for what you allow in, especially what you listen to. Strategy 2 builds right on top of that. It's not just about blocking the bad stuff, it's about actively rolling out the red carpet for the good stuff. This means you have to become an intentional architect of your environment. You have to design the spaces you live in, physical, social, and even digital, so they're constantly supporting the mindset you want to have. So how do we actually do that? Well, the source gives some fantastic, actionable advice. Instead of just passively consuming whatever the algorithm throws at you, you actively shape it. Go read the stories of successful people, unfollow all the negative accounts, and intentionally fill your social media with positivity. And customize your YouTube homepage so it starts recommending content that's going to help you learn and grow. Now for strategy number 3. This one is incredibly subtle, but oh my, it can have a massive impact. It's called word substitution, and it's all about changing the actual vocabulary you use inside your own head. And this slide is just the perfect illustration of how it works. Look at the negative thought. It's focused on what you don't want. I will never be late again. To even process that sentence, your brain has to focus on the word late. But the positive replacement,
I will be early. Boom! Your mind is now focused directly on the outcome you actually want. It is such a small shift in language, but it is a huge shift in focus.
You know, this is the exact principle behind why daily affirmations can be so powerful. When you consciously repeat a phrase like, I am successful, you are using word substitution to actively reprogram your subconscious beliefs, one sentence at a time. And our final strategy gives all this work a direction. Stay firm on your goal. When you have a clear, powerful, ultimate goal for your life, it acts like a giant magnet. It just naturally pulls your thoughts and your focus towards it, which leaves a lot less mental space for all those smaller, negative, distracting thoughts to even take root. So, the crucial point we've explored today is that we are the architects. Our inner world of thought is the literal blueprint for our outer world of reality. And the most empowering part of all of this, the tools to draw that blueprint, are entirely in our hands. So, here it is, your path to success, boiled down into 4 steps. It starts with just analyzing, becoming aware of your thoughts. From there, you replace the negative words with positive ones. Then you actively fill your mind with positive inputs. And when this becomes a consistent practice, achieving your goals isn't a struggle anymore. It becomes the natural outcome. And that brings us to the final slide, which isn't an answer, but a question for you. Because this isn't just about learning, it's about doing. Looking at everything we've covered, what is the one single thought you can choose to change starting right now?